Do. Good evening. Welcome to my office. So, as you might have seen online, I restrained from ranting, which has become my thing now. It's proving quite popular actually. Where I just ran at the camera yesterday because of the out of respect for Germany and the other countries, Holland, Luxembourg, Belgium, and stuff. The floods are just terrifying. It's like a scale you rarely see, like cars floating on a motorway. It's like that's not happened over a period of time. That's literally just poof, gone. Houses swept away and everything. So I didn't think it was a right day to start boning and bitching about things, because that's one thing you should. One thing about the accident always has taught me is the power of real normal life. Sometimes we get bored sitting at home or whatever, but the hospital thing taught me the value in simply just being able to get up and make yourself a bit of toast or a cup of tea, like, because so many can't. Talking of tea. So anyway, driver shortage, yay! I hear you all scream. So I tried to set up a petition on the government site. This is how it goes. Instead of putting more work on already overworked drivers, bring in legislation to drastically reduce loading and unloading times at distribution centres to free up thousands more vehicles and help solve the driver shortage. Distribution centres are a law unto themselves. It's common to lose several hours of your working day in these warehouses and loading and unloading. Set a 1 hour limit to assist the driver shortage and stop drivers bearing the brunt and compromising road safety by increasing workload. Other countries have limits, so should we. The most notable of which is in America, apparently. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, so now apparently the government can't legislate for that. So we'll just load more work on drivers. It's just stressing me out, all this. Like, it's ridiculous. And I'm not even working at the moment. Yeah, so anyway, the subject of today's video is something the industry is calling for, not this section of the industry, a relaxation on European workers. Now, from the get-go, if you don't know my view on the EU, you must be blind. I've heard people, I'll put a screenshot in here, abuse me over that on YouTube and stuff. It's like, just quickly going off on the side, that's one thing I don't get. Like, I've never understood that. I want people who've thought about what they think and come to their own conclusions. I love to be debating people like that, because you learn stuff. We might never change each other's opinion, but you learn stuff. Got more in common with, say, an opinionated Tory than I would somebody who doesn't have an opinion. Yeah, and there's a few people who have mentioned like they need to announce their departure, unfollowing me because of my politics. And it's like, right, okay, well. And it's like, you send me comments like, I'm going to have to unfollow you because of your politics, and usually a bit more abusive than that. And it's like, and you want me to be upset or something? I'm not entirely sure what you want from this. So there we go. I'm also hassling a DVLA on every site possible, on every Facebook posts and LinkedIn and stuff. So the petition was rejected because the government don't think they have any ways of legislating for that, but it's like bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. Of course they do. They just don't have any inclination to improve things for the better. They're just going to flail around in the darkness with the bloody RHA flailing around with them, the Road Haulage Association. So the latest thing is the industry wants to relax rules on foreign workers. Well, that's what I was going with the EU. From the get-go, I'm a massive believer in the EU. I think it is great. You don't have to agree with me. You're perfectly entitled to your own view. I think in time, us leaving will be seen as one of the biggest mistakes this country ever made. And I know plenty of you have the opposite view, and that's fine. Not a problem. No point ranting at me in the comments though, because I'm not going to change my mind and you're not going to change yours, so there's no point. Yes, so trying to get drivers back, Eastern European, sorry. Although they're often not Eastern, are they? It's Central Europe, technically. Technically, on a technicality. Now, on the ground, in this industry for many years, one of the biggest reasons, certainly in the industry anyway, people voted to leave Europe was the fact we had a sea of drivers come over. And I'm not going to make a comment about the fact they came over because I've worked abroad. They're just doing what I did. So if we are leaving Europe and bringing back one of the biggest bugbears of Europe by most of the population, what the fucking hell do they think they're doing? It's like, that's like say, that's not a solution. That's another non-solution. They just keep coming up over and over and over and over again with these non-fucking solutions. You try and suggest sensible ones, nobody takes any notice, or they fucking shut down your petition. And it's like, how are you not listening? So yeah, that's the problem is, like I say, there's a lot of the smaller companies and the good companies to work for don't have a problem with finding drivers. White's don't have a problem with finding drivers. Broughton's are finding drivers fine. They're finding drivers. The problem is, with Eastern Europeans coming over, bad companies ended up not having any recruitment problems at all. So bad companies, shit companies, over the past 15 years, just got worse and worse and worse. So whereas they were a shit company in the first place and shit to work for, they had no motive to improve. And I think a lot of them now are actually surprised how shit people's opinion is of them. Crap treatment. Yeah. So yeah, the Eastern Europeans just allowed crap companies to bury their head in the sand. Now these are the companies that are crying out the most for them to come back. And another thing I think is true as well is I think one of the biggest things with, well, it's not one of the biggest, but a big thing with Eastern European drivers is many of them couldn't speak a word of English, which is fine, not a problem. I couldn't speak Dutch. But I think that's partly why some of these companies employ them, because they can't moan. Because, can't understand it. So, problem doesn't exist because you can't illustrate it in English. So there's that. So yeah, they're the two non-fucking solutions. Let's just increase the daily driving limit and let's bring in European drivers again, while not solving any of the issues. Like, I went for that, changing the time limits in RDC's idea, because it was very easy to implement, although the government seems completely beyond them, obviously. But obviously I know about the other problems, which I will now list, but people have listed. But some of them are quite hard to legislate for, so pay is one, because there's all going to be different pays and different things. There does need to be more pay. Some companies pay okay, some don't. Conditions. Too many jobs are crap conditions-wise. Company treatment. So many companies, and again, they're often the ones that pay the least. Are the ones who treat you. You'd be amazed. Some people who've never been in transport would be absolutely, frankly, amazed at the shit way some companies treat their drivers. It's beyond. It can be an amazing job. This job's fantastic if you want it to be, and if you are lucky enough, like I fell into the right jobs, in the cobweb. But yeah, but they're getting fewer and further between. That's another thing I noticed as well. Somebody commented about how the amount of companies that won't pay for the driver CPC, because as you know, my view of the driver CPC is it's a good thing, it needs to be more serious. But the fact that everything is just left to the drivers to sort out is bewildering. I'm not sure it happens in any other industry. I mean, does a pilot on a ship or a pilot in a plane or whatever have to sort out and arrange their own training and keeping up their license and stuff? Because it just is crap. That's the problem. That's why people don't come into it. It's just too many obstacles, just too many things. Like I say, it's a good job when you want it to be and when you find a good company, but so many obstacles. And like I say again, I don't see a good, well-run driver CPC as an obstacle. If it was as it is now, it might as well not exist because it's an absolute pile of wank. But if you did it properly, if you set proper syllabus, like somebody said, it should always be a mandatory first aid kit course on one, should be a day, and that's actually a really good point because obviously drivers are often the first on the scene. But yeah, set it, and as I said the other day, younger drivers are coming out of school. They're not going to be put off by sitting in a classroom for a few days. It's always the older blokes. But that's the thing, that's what we need to do. Make this driver CPC worth doing. Teach people things they need to know. I've started writing because I want to take them. Do driver CPC courses myself. You can be part of a consortium or you can go it alone. I'm telling you, they're going alone, so I'm having a look at working on writing up some material. If anybody's got any material that I could use to be reference from. But yeah, so that's it really. Bringing new Eastern European drivers isn't the answer. If this country voted out on the strength of something we're bringing back in 6 months later, I will absolutely go mad with rage. Good day. Also quickly as well, as I mentioned in the last video, the problem with drivers is because the Tories did a fantastic, I was drooping, sorry, fantastic job, why is that not going up? Stay up. The Tories did a fantastic job brainwashing the British public when it came to unions. The unions didn't do themselves any favours, like in certain points in history, but whenever it's like a bloke brought up strikes the other day on one of the truck Facebook pages, and so many people were replying, "You clearly haven't thought this through. The shelves would be empty." And it's like, that is sort of the point of going on strike. The idea is, and it'd be like drivers will be responsible for death and whatnot, and it's like, no, managers will be responsible for death, like not drivers. And it's like, but then like this person was totally missing the point of. I'm going to. That's annoying me. Hang on, freshen this on. This bloke was totally missing the point of unions. The whole point is to like bring disruption. Oh yeah, so the Tories did a good job on unions, so now it's very anti-union overall in this country. When in reality, what they're actually for is a good thing. I was anti-union once. Before I started thinking about stuff like this, I was fairly, and I just followed the herd. And I don't know where I started this conversation up for now. Oh yes, so I mentioned it last time. Possibly, the problem with all these different meetings is there's never any drivers. They're legislating and working out solutions that drivers are the absolute key point of. Sorry, I just got an email and it left me a bit. I saw the first line. It was funny. Yeah, the key for it all. Like I'm not claiming we're the most important thing and everything. It's just everybody has a job that needs to be done, so everybody else can do a job. But it just seems intentional at this stage. Intentional to leave drivers out, and it's like the media as well. Like whenever they talk to anybody, they'll talk to somebody shopping in Marks and Spencer's before they'll talk to a fucking lorry driver half the time. So yeah, so while a union's never going to happen, because I know they're there already, I'm interested in the idea of either me or somebody else becoming like the go-to spokesman for drivers, basically. So my way of thinking is, it would be done via a website, and we'd have discussions about things. I mean, it's like a union in a way, but yeah, we'd have discussions and come to an accepted point that we put across. Yeah, so that's my thinking, and that's what we need. People always moan about the French striking, don't they? And it's like, the French have got a much better job lifestyle than we do. Yeah. So yeah, vote for Luke Vernon for your driver representative. Vote for the Bertie Party. If you think you've got it bad with the Tories, I will make your life hell. Look into my eyes.